Welcome to the O Show, your number one podcast for everything training, mindset, and nutrition. I am your host, Oren McCarry, and it is my goal to help you access the best information around to allow you to kick ass in the gym, in the kitchen, and most importantly, in your head. Between my own experiences and those of my amazing guests, I'm confident we will do that. So let's strap in and level up your life starting right now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to today's episode of the O Show. I am your host, Oren McCarry, and today I am with the lovely Shay from MindYou, who is a PT at Revo Fitness and is somebody who has her own podcast, has a very interesting journey, and I'm very excited to have her on to chat about that journey. Shay, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks, Oren. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I'm a little bit nervous because I've been listening to you, like binge listening, and then here I am, you're doing the intro. And I've had this intro so many times, and I'm like,
There we go. It's just your name now instead of, or my guest is X. It's, it's Shay. You're like, oh, that's me.
Yeah. And how are you today?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. I'm excited for this because it was actually your partner, Steve, who put it forward. And I was like, this is such a good idea because I like to have local trainers on to just expose good people to the podcast, right? Not everyone is going to be able to or want to train with me, but somebody might be right up your street or might be looking at a female coach who's like, oh, you know what? I need a PT in person who is a female, who lives close to me, and they might just tick all the boxes. And by you being on here today, it gives you that exposure. So I was like, oh, of course, this makes sense. Like, you've got a really cool story, and I want to dig into that a little bit now. But before we get into that, let's...
Hold on, I was going to say, you realize that Steve's going to take credit for all this now, right?
Oh, I've given him some ammo, right?
Exactly.
He's going to be like, oh, remember that time I got you on that podcast?
Exactly. That's why he's hundreds of clients.
But to be fair, that's a good partner support, because the poll that I put up was, who are the inspirational women that I need to have on the podcast? And when he said your name, I was like, he said like my lovely partner, Shay. And I was like, I love that. The fact that he put you forward as like somebody who's inspirational, kicking ass. I was like, this just ticks all the boxes. So he should probably get some brownie points for putting you forward for that. Yeah. But as long as he doesn't hold it over your head for too long, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, before we get into your journey, let's talk about your current business. So you're a PT at Revo. So let's talk about where you PT, who you normally work with, and sort of why you're passionate about helping that group of people.
Yeah, for sure. So I operate under my own business, MindYou. So I'm working primarily at Revo Claremont and Inaloo only on Thursdays and Saturdays. So they're full days there. My clientele is women. So women, they all come from different walks of life, from like 22 to 46 at the moment. And they just have all different goals, you know, like wedding, engagement, overall health. But a lot of them have come from, it's crazy, a lot of them have just come through Instagram, have come through from me sharing my journey, my prep, sharing my past eating disorder of 17 years that I overcame. And I shared it like on there for like over a year now. And I've just connected with these women over the last year.
Nice.
I don't know, it's really insane because I've had a few referrals in there from Revo, but they've just come through connecting on Instagram, and it's bizarre. I didn't know what my market was. I didn't know who my target audience was, but all the women have come to me. I've loved working with them. So
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. And it shows that you're doing something right when people who are like your ideal clients are just reaching out to you being like, hey, like this resonated with me, or this was a great post. Like, how do I get coaching with you further? That shows that what you're doing on social media and what you're doing with your coaching is right. If they've sort of just landed on your lap and they're like, hey, like this is going to be a good fit, and they're like your perfect guys and you're really enjoying coaching them, that's a winner. So good work.
Yeah, thank you. It's been insane. And I talk a lot about why. So my first question with any client, any consult, I'm always asking, like, you know, you ask them about their goals and stuff, but it's why, like always getting down to their why. And yeah, it's crazy. Like clients will come to me and they've already prepared their reason why. They were like, because they know that's what I'm after, which I'm like, this is weird, because they're doing their homework before they even have met me. I had
that's killer.
And she had like a notebook. She's like, all right, I've prepared. This is my why. I listened to your podcast. I know you talked about this. This is what I want. I'm like, it's bizarre.
That's awesome. So piggybacking off that, since whys are so important to you, let's talk about your why. Like, why is Shay in the fitness industry to help these specific people get in the shape of their life?
Yeah, it comes from a lot of pain and suffering in the past, like a lot. It comes from, I've always loved fitness. So ever since I stepped foot in the gym at 16, loved it. But then I developed an eating disorder at about 18, 19, and it stuck with me for a long time. I actually did PT at 19, 20 when I was studying at university. A lot of, like, I guess, expectations from my parents coming from an Asian background, and particularly my dad. And it was like, you got to be at uni. Otherwise you failed at life, you know. So I was like, I failed. And all I knew I wanted to do was PT. So I did that. I went off and I took time off uni. I went to do PT, had my morning clients, did all that kind of stuff. But I just couldn't keep up with it, with the schedule and going to uni and studying and evening clients, etc. And then I was like, crap, I really got to please my dad and make sure I just do this degree and get it done. And, you know, like, they were refugees, so I felt like I owed it to them. So I did that. I went and did that. I said, one day I'll go back to doing this, what I really love. One day became so long. One day became 10 years spent in the corporate world. So, you know, you get a job, then you get, like, pays well, you get the promotion, pays really good, gets comfortable, work from home, travel, all of those. And then it just gets too comfortable to kind of leave. And then with my eating disorder as well, like, I think at the time I felt like a fraud, kind of going through what I was going through and then doing PT at the same time, you know, telling people, you know, to eat well, nutrition, all these kind of giving them this guidance, and then myself suffering with this kind of internal stuff that I wasn't dealing with. That just went for a long time, and I never sought help. I never sought help. I just thought that I could get over it by myself. Like, it was a lot of ego. It was I got this, you know, and I'd go through weeks and feel fine. And then I'd go through a relapse. And then it was just like self-sabotage in my mind, and mentally I was anxious. I had depression, all sorts. And then eventually I was like, okay, I clearly can't do this by myself, and I can't get over this. And I reached out to a psychologist, who I'm still seeing now to date. So I saw her, and it was like the best thing I could have done. And I wish I'd done so much sooner. And I didn't realize there were so many things that I had, trauma, childhood, all of these things that I kind of blocked. That was behind all of this eating disorder. Fear failing was huge. Okay. Still have that fear, but I'm working with it, you know. And then I have so much passion for this because I'm in such a good place. Like, the last few years have been, I feel like I'm truly living my life the way I want it. I feel completely secure with myself as a person. I genuinely love myself. And I think not many women say that about themselves. Not many 100%. Women say that. Like, I love myself. And I'm like, I don't love myself in the sense that I think I'm hot, I think I'm that. I just truly respect and honor myself.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can do that. And I just want that for so much more women, like, out there, to respect it, to move their bodies in a way that they love their bodies, you know, to have goals and still embrace every part of it. And because your body's going to change, like, through every single phase. Like, my body's going to change. And I women to be empowered and to feel powerful and to be excited. And yeah, that's where it all comes from. Yeah.
That's huge. And like you say, it's a lot of stuff that people probably don't really unpack and like think about along their journey. They just think like, they just say, I want to lose weight or whatever, but they never think about why. And that why is sometimes like, I've had women who hit me with some stuff that I've never heard before. Like before Christmas, I signed a woman up and she's like, I just want to be able to just get in bed naked beside my partner and not feel self-conscious. And I was like, oh, bing, like nobody's ever said that to me before, but now I understand this woman more. And then some people like having sex with the lights on, like something that might seem normal to other people is something that people are really insecure about. And they like you said, a lot of women just don't love where they're at and they don't love themselves, and they're not doing the stuff to make them feel empowered or make them feel sexy or confident or, you know, comfortable in their own skin, you know. And when they can get with a good coach like yourself, who's been through such a journey, and you understand your why and you can communicate that well to them, either on a podcast or in person, and ask them their why, then the walls can start to come down and they can say, you know what, the reason why I want to lose weight is really this, but I just haven't realized it until you asked me that question.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Not a lot. When I've dived into more so than, you know, feeling good or looking good in bikini, it's more like, okay, I want to be a good mum. I want to be able, you know, I want to wake up not in pain every day. You know, there's so many reasons. And I'm just not happy. And then it's internal. It's all that stuff that's internal. It's that mindset stuff, which I'm really big on. Yeah.
That's huge, man. That's huge. And obviously you're doing a good job because you keep attracting these women who come to you like having worked this out before. And that's huge. And it speaks volumes to the content you put out and the stuff you put out on your social media and your podcasts and that, where people are learning about this stuff before they even come to you. So good work on that, mate. But one thing that I wanted to like flip back to was you talked about, you know, the pressure at uni to get your degree. Now you said I'll eventually go back to PT one day, and that day is just basically came recently. But what was the degree and where did you go after that degree when you decided you were still going to continue that path and not go straight back into the fitness industry? What did you do in between then and now?
Okay, so my degree, gosh, so exciting. It was corporate governance and management.
Wow, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, right. And then I ended up doing like in risk management and compliance for financial services. So completely different and very different to my personality, because I'm really like fun. I'm fun, and you know, I love having a laugh, and working for like in that kind of corporate side it's not quite me. So I was doing that for a major financial services organization, and in total all up 10 years in my life. I forgot what was the other part of your question. This is my
No, I think you've answered it fine. But one thing I was going to say as well was, you said earlier that you now really love yourself and you feel like your life is on your terms and you're really living it. Did you feel like being that fun, bubbly person that in such a like boring, like, not that it's boring, like I don't mean everyone in insurance and risk and everything has to be like boring, but it's quite a professional, like it's seen as that sort of more, I want to use the word sterile. I don't know why sterile comes to mind, but it's very clinical, very like serious.
Sterile, Like I'm sitting there sometimes we're all kind of trying to disagree or agree to the definition of risk event, risk incident, and I'm like, you know? No, I mean, for the most part of my career, I absolutely loved it. Like I really enjoyed it. But I think for me, I'm more creative, and like I absolutely don't regret it, because I think everything that I've learned so far has led me to here, hence why I couldn't make it I didn't have the maturity, didn't have the experience, didn't have the personal growth that I've gone through to have made it successful the first time. So for me, like I learned about leading, I learned about what I really enjoyed. Like I learned, I loved dealing with people. So I was in projects I was collaborating with people. I enjoyed mentoring, like I took part in like mentoring as a volunteer as part of at work, and I loved that. It just I didn't put the puzzles together. And then eventually when everything kind of put together, I was like, oh, wow, okay, I'm good. And I was told that I was good with people. So I'm like, well, it's, personal training, coaching, love that. I love fitness. I love being able to help people, mentor. But I just didn't love the profession. And it was coming towards the end where I was just no longer fulfilled. And I kind of got to the point where I can only grow in my career now if I was to move to Sydney headquarters, because based here, there was just no way. And I was given opportunities there, and I just started to realize that it was no longer like, you get to a point where money just doesn't drive you. Like, they were throwing me at this money, they'll pay for my expenses, pay for my flights to come back here to visit my family. But I had to turn them down many times. And I was like, this isn't what I want to do. It doesn't, like, I don't feel like I'm adding value, like in terms of like true influence, true impact. So that's where kind of my corporate career. What's the journey been like? Yeah.
Awesome. And I remember I was speaking to you, like you just started Revel Claremont, and we were talking, and I was like, how's business going anyway? Like, is it good in Revel? Because I know a few trainers peppered over Revels all around. I was just getting feedback from you, like, hey, how are you finding it? Like, is business good? And you said, yeah, it's good. When I get to X amount of clients, I'm going to quit my job. And then I seen you, must have been about a month now. We would just cross paths in Revel in Aloo. And I was like, hey, did I see you there today? I'm sure I could have seen you. And I was like, how's business? Is everything good? And you're like, yeah, I've hit this number and I'm leaving my job. And I was like, oh, when? And you're like, oh, actually, like this week or whatever it was. And it was like that same week that I seen you, just coincidentally happened to be the week that you decided to, right, that's it. So how, like, that's what I want to really dig in on. Like, you go from this very secure job, you got offers of, further in it, moving to Sydney, moving further up the organization. They're going to pay for you to travel back and forth and still see family and do everything. And that's like a secure job. I think you said on your own podcast, it was like a 6-figure salary. And now you've essentially went into your dream job, which probably at the minute anyway, isn't paying you as much as you were then. So it's a big decision, right? So how did you find that decision of security, 6 figures, stable job, to love what you do, have loads of influence and loads of impact, and like create this life-changing thing, but it doesn't pay you as much? Like, how did you find that whole decision process?
Oh, scared as fuck.
Yeah, at least you're honest. Yep, good.
Yeah, like, I mean, fear, like terrified, or I have the biggest thing that I worked through with my psych was fear of failing. It has been with me right from the get-go. I had this massive fear, even to sit my uni exams, that I actually didn't sit at all.
Okay.
Like, I was like, I can't fail. So I said to Mom, can't sit it this year. She goes, what do you mean? I was like, I can't sit it. I'm just too scared of failing. She goes, how do you know if you didn't sit them? I was like, no, I can't do it. So for me, massive fear. And I think I've really, over the last few years, I know that I have this massive fear, but I know I can't work against it, and I can't let it control me or the decisions I want. I have to work with it. And that's what I've been doing over the last few years, with a lot of stuff like prepping for the first time, competing, which I wanted to compete 10 years ago. And the biggest fear of my whole entire life has been quitting my corporate career to go all in on MindYou. Yeah. It is, when I say it's a dream come true, it is an absolute dream come true.
Yeah.
And it's scary because I don't have any of that security now. Like, I was working from home. Like, I was literally working from home, turning on my laptop at 9 o'clock. I live by the beach, so I would wake up, go for a walk, train, turn my laptop on, dial in a few meetings, shut my laptop at 4:35, and then I'm done for the day.
Yep.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I don't have any of that security. Like, I don't have super, I don't have benefits, But I really just had to ask myself, coming towards the end, I was like, what, I want to wake up every day knowing that I'm doing what I love on my terms. I want to really add value into other people's lives. Like that's what my purpose is. I know that I found my purpose and my passion. It's beyond passion. It's like everything that I've gone through, my personal growth, my ED, you know, overcoming fear over time and time again, and I'm sure in the future as well. All of that is what has led me here. And yeah, and so over the last few months behind the scenes, and I think I just hadn't, it looks like that on Instagram, and it looks like that suddenly, you know, I've quit my job and then I've got these clients, business is great. Yeah. So it does look like that, but behind the scenes, you know, 2-3 years ago, I did my qualification. So once I finished, when I clocked off, like I did my courses, I connected with people. That was all the relationships that I built hasn't been because they've just come to me. I've spoken to them, not like that I was trying to get them as clients, but just connecting with them and hearing their stories and hearing their why and relating to them. And, you know, they've reached out to me for help and for comfort. And then, yeah, before you know it, it was just like, it came to the point where I was like, okay, well, I've got clients in the morning. I'm coming home to, you know, do my corporate job. And then I was starting to get booked out in the mornings. And then I was like, okay, I'm unable to now clock off. So I had to think about it. I was like, there's never going to be a comfortable time to say, you know, I'm financially comfortable now to kind of pull the pin and say, go all in. Like, of course, it's always going to be that fear. Like, and so I just thought, what is a number of sessions, number of clients that I'm okay with? I will struggle. I know I will struggle. And there's going to be a massive gap between what I earn now, which is at the time my corporate job, and PTing, that I'm okay to leave. And I think you need that fear. You need that fear and that gap to say, shit, I've got to make this work.
Oh, yep, 100%.
You know, because if there's no fear, like you won't try, it's too comfortable. And so for me, I think when I had the chat with you, you were like, oh, okay. Because you said to me, oh, I didn't realize that you were working full time. And I was like, yeah, I am. I'm doing this. I'm transitioning out.
Yeah.
That was the only way for it to all work. And so, you know, you asked me, you're like, oh, so how many sessions or what's the number? Yeah. And I said to you, oh, about 15 clients. I think I've worked out, like, I'm never going to be comfortable, but at 15, I'm happy to. And then the next time I spoke to you, I was like, I've got 22. So, yeah. And so it's crazy. So by the time I resigned, I was like, this is it.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. And then the goal now has to be like replacing whatever that number was from that, building it to that level, which no doubt will come over time as people realize the good job you're doing and everything's growing up. But then you're like, hang on, now I've built this like a year in, 2 years in, however many years, to this bad boy where I can start paying myself super and give myself that security, and everything else that you've sort of short-term taken the hit on, you can then build back to be like, oh, hang on, I'm actually going to keep growing this and keep doing things and keep dominating. So it's awesome to hear, and it's inspiring. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about it, because like when I came into this, I've pretty much always been self-employed, like apart from very short employment terms for other people. Like, so I don't really get I get the strategy behind like the way you've done it, but I don't get the feelings. I don't know how it felt to give up that security, that super, like everything that people crave when they look for a job, you're sort of giving up to go out on your own. And it's hugely inspiring, because there's going to be people out there who aren't happy in their job. They're not sure the next step. And it might not be the fitness industry. They might want to open up a restaurant or do something, but they've just got to work out how they can do that to make yourself happy. Because I can tell how much you buzz off the fact that, you know, it's 3 o'clock today, it's 3:30 at the minute, and we've been on here for half an hour, and, you know, you're able to just fit things around your current clients, your training, everything else. And you've got so much more freedom to do the things that make you happy now. And you can tell that you're just happy and you feel fulfilled by it. And it's just awesome to see.
Oh, thank you. I am like, I don't think I still haven't processed it, because it's been go since. But it's just like, sometimes I rock up at the gym, I'm like, holy shit, I'm my own boss. And I'm getting paid to really like to help other people. And we're having a laugh, like you see on my stories, and we're like, all my clients, like I love seeing my clients. Like I have such a great time. At the end of the day, it's just like, I'm like talking to Steve, like, oh my God, this, and they do this. It's amazing. So yeah, it's just such a different feeling. It's like purposeful, it's meaningful. And I just seeing people, you know, even from the moment that they're, you know, they come in the session 6 o'clock in the morning and they haven't had a great sleep, but then to turn that around in the next 45 minutes and they've come out and they're like, oh, thank you. Like I feel buzzed and for the day, like that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, just small things like that along the way.
Yeah, that's epic. It's really good. It's really good. And what's next for Shay then? Like, you're kicking these goals, you've made the move from corporate to PT and you're loving life, but what do you see as the next like 12-month plan, or where would you like to be this time next year?
Yeah, so I would love to have more online clients. So I have like big goals. My goals and my dreams do scare me and like fearful.
They should.
Yeah, they should scare you. Like they freak me out, but they're so big and they're so clear to me. Like I have it on my vision board, as you can see, like all there.
Oh yeah, nice.
But for me, is to have more online clients. I actually had my first online client from Ireland. Would you believe?
Oh, nice.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's killer.
Crazy. And then I would. Oh, look, I love to have my own gym. Love to have my own gym. So like a small boutique gym. I just really build out my MindYou community. I have so many ideas at the moment. Sorry.
It's just reining them in, because when you're so passionate like you are, sometimes you've got to like put the blinkers on and focus on that one thing for like that 30 to 60, 90 days. And then once you hit that, then it's like, okay, cool, let me entertain this other little thing. But I'm sure you've got everything all mapped out. I can see that board behind you. I can't see what it says in it, but I can tell it's friggin' detailed. There's lots of words and numbers and all sorts of sections on there. So that's awesome to hear. It's awesome to see how well you've done since doing this. So now comes the point where people will be resonating with you for whatever reason, whether it's a bubbly personality, whether it's a story, maybe it's the location, maybe they want to PT it Claremont or in Inaloo, and they just don't know who to go to, or they're at another gym and they want to come to see you. Sell yourself now. Let's tell people how they can get in touch with you, how they can find the podcast, how they can get some more Shay in their life.
Yeah. So you can find me at Revo Claremont. So Claremont, I'm mostly there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday mornings to afternoon, and then I'm based at Claremont, Inaloo on Thursdays for the most of the day. At the moment, it's back-to-back clients, so I'm booked out on Thursdays now, which is so weird because 3 months ago I wouldn't have believed to say that. Now I'm saying that, which is so crazy. Yeah. And Saturdays as well at Inaloo. MindYou podcast is on Spotify. We had issues finding it though, so.
Yeah, I think I looked on Apple or I typed in my MindYou, I'm sure.
That's probably why. Yeah, so MindYou podcast on Spotify. I don't think it could be on Apple. I'm not sure. But my Instagram is my.mindyou, or my personal one is my.fitness_Shay.
Yeah, perfect. That's a good plug for the podcast, and I think I did find it on Spotify. I'm pretty sure you sent me the link actually, and I enjoyed the episode where you talked about your transition. So if people are liking that sort of side street we went down at the end of your journey, they might want to go and tune into that episode to sort of get a more in-depth thing. Obviously, we can't cover everything about your feelings and everything as good as you can in a full 40-60 minute episode, but that was a really good episode, and the podcast is really good, and you're getting lots of traction with all your clients and your socials, and you can tell how much you buzz off this. So yeah, I'm really excited to see if we catch up on Wednesday the 18th of August 2022 of where we're going to be at, and I'm just pumped for you. So best of luck with it, and I do encourage everyone, if you've enjoyed this, please take a screenshot, tag Shay, tag me, message you, reach out, follow you, do all the good stuff, guys. Her link, I'll actually put it in as a link that you can click in the description below, and you can go straight to her Instagram page and follow her and see all her good stuff over there. But Shay, have you anything else you want to talk about before we finish?
Hey, I just I have to get you to jump onto my podcast.
Absolutely, anytime. It's a two-way street now. The relationship's
exactly. I'll have to
right?
get you on, because I have so many questions for you, but I can't ask them here, so I'll get you on my podcast. But I just want to say thank you so much for having me on, because I was actually really nervous about this one.
A lot of people are.
I know, because I've been listening to you for so long, and yeah, so it's like so cool to kind of be invited on here, and very, very humbled. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. And I love all your work and content, and I follow you closely. So just love that you're a family man, and you kind of have like, you know, you're very like everything under controlled and managed, and you're, you know, you're coach, but you're a family man. You show that, and just, yeah, it's humbling, and I love that. So yeah, just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And like, you're obviously on here for a reason, mate. Like, honestly, like, regardless of whether I know Steve and he would have posted requesting it, if I didn't think you were a good fit for the podcast of that inspiring females locally or internationally, you wouldn't have got an invite on. Like, I literally messaged him straight back. I was like, oh, this could be a good one. And then messaged you, and it was like, sweet. Like, so it's your hard work that has got you onto the podcast. I mean, you've done an awesome job. I know you were a bit nervous at the start, but everything flowed nicely and you've done an awesome job. And it's a result of the hard work that you've put in that you're sitting here now. So I encourage people, even if you're not looking to coach now, just go follow Shay, because you're going to see some really killer stuff in the next 12 months. And it's going to be awesome to see.
Thank you so much, Oren. Honestly, thank you. I hope to see you, catch you properly at the gym. Say hello.
Yes. Yes, because every time we see each other in the gym, it's like somebody's either talking to you, or like I'll walk past you when you're doing a set and I'm like, oh, I'll not annoy her, or I've seen you walk past me when I'm doing a set and I'm like, oh, she just walked past me. Like I literally just started my set, and then like I think every time I go to say bye at the end, there's always somebody talking to me. I'm like, I'll talk to her next time. I just haven't caught up in person. So next time we'll definitely say hi and we'll talk and we'll go from there then.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks again.
Awesome, mate. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll chat about getting me on your one then, and getting some reciprocal love going on here, and we'll go from there. But have a great rest of your day, mate, and I will speak to you very soon.
Thank you. You too. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks for joining me on today's episode of The O Show. If you know somebody who needs to hear this episode today, please share this with them via message or on social media. Don't forget to also take a screenshot and share it on your story and tag me at Oren McCarry, so we can continue to grow the podcast and help more people change their lives with the advice given here. Also, keep the 5-star reviews coming over on iTunes, as that helps people who normally wouldn't listen to the show find it and get The O Show in their ears and drive the podcast forward to help more people around the world with the advice here. Have a great day, and I will speak to you soon.